Hi, I'm Nutri-D. Welcome. We're here at East Wind Yoga, Roseville on Riverside, interviewing Scott Emerich, founder. I'm so excited. Thanks for coming, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing such peace to my life and introducing, being the second studio I ever graced my presence in. Tell me more about what keeps you at East Wind and what keeps you moving forward in your own practice and what you'd like to call people to consider on the mat.
Well, for me, it's the challenge. It's what I see in myself and how I am constantly reflecting myself in the work. And the more I see, the more I realize I have work to do. And the more I have work to do, and the excitement I have, and sometimes the frustration I have, and the aggression I have, and all those things that make me human, I get excited about that journey. And yoga brings it to me, and I love teaching it. I love seeing people and facilitating people on that journey, and that's why I come and show up every day, and I've taught basically every day for 8 years.
Thanks, Scott. Most of you know the practice of nutrition for me has saved my life. The practice of yoga on a regular basis has saved my soul and saved my spirit, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of those things. I want to understand a little bit about what you do for yourself off the mat, and how your practice on the mat might spill it off the mat, and what you do about that.
Oh, that's a challenging question, and it's a very relevant question to where I am in my life regarding my yoga practice. And for the last few years, my yoga practice has really been dominant on the teaching side, and then on the practice on the mat, asana side. And I am navigating now, as we speak, on that question of how much do I dedicate my time to my teaching, and how much do I need to dedicate my time and reconnect with a practice and find a connection that I used to have, while at the same time embracing everything that I'm learning about where I am on that practice, or where I am in my asana practice now, which I don't practice as often as I know I should intellectually. And a lot of that has to do with how much I have taught and how much time I spend in the room. And it's really on me to navigate through that and find that practice that I used to have that brought me the physical empowerment that I in a lot of ways miss. So you bring up a very interesting question at a very interesting time in my life.
They call me an intuitive nutritionist, but when I look at you, Scott, I think of balance, and I think about what you've taught me and what you bring me and call inside me. And again, sometimes I cry on the mat, sometimes I bring it all on the mat, sometimes I'm powerful, sometimes I'm weak. But I see the sailboat in your eyes. Tell me a little bit about what the sailboat and East Wind, the logo and the name means to you.
Well, really, the East Wind and the sailboat logo are not synonymous. We came up with the logo in parts. My mom and I, East Wind, the Eastern philosophy, moving, the wind blowing. We saw a poster actually where a sailboat was coming in to dock, and there was a person sitting at the bow or the front of the boat. And I said, well, wouldn't that be cool to see a bow or the front of a boat with somebody doing a posture on the bow? And that's how I came up with the logo. But East Wind really has nothing to do with the sailing part of it. The sailing part is a huge part of my soul. Yoga does for my body, sailing does for my soul. And and actually I give my mom credit for that. She's the one that told me, bring that in, be real with who you are, and bring that into your yoga, because it's a big part of who you are and where you come from. So we've taken people sailing ever since we opened the doors back in 2005 in Roseville.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Everyone wanted to know about that, so I had to ask you that question. In the spirit of Jim Rohn, it's not the wind of change, the wind of all kinds of things, the opposites that you speak of a lot, about pain, and the wind of positives and the wind of negatives come on us all, and it's the set of the sail. I'm calling to action. I think we're calling to action.
Absolutely,
Everyone to
always.
share space on the mat, and you can lay there on the mat. There's no judgment. Tell me more about coming up on this St. Valentine's Day and having our heart chakras open and having more love, and the new birth of spring just around the corner. What you'd like to to do coming up shortly.
We'll have everything open. Heart chakra, throat chakra, your intellectual being opening up. I mean, we need to continue to expand. We need to push up against our edge, whether it's getting smarter and getting wiser intellectually, or it's opening our heart and allowing somebody to come in. It's seeing how we tend to shelter ourselves when we're in fear or where we're in another human emotion. Everything needs to open, and will open. Not one person is opening faster than they can. Every single one of us are opening exactly as fast as we can. Can we see how we're doing that, and can we see the elements of impermanence, the constant change that we are going under, and then reconnect on a daily basis with where we are on that journey?
Acceptance, thank you. Acceptance is the answer to most of our problems in the now. I want to talk a little bit about how you're moving through your own journey in the now and how we can possibly work with that and learn more from you.
Let me learn from me first. I love teaching, and no matter what mood I'm in, that mood changes for the better in that experience of teaching a 90-minute yoga class and coming out of it. And along those lines, as much as I love the teaching, I'm feeling that I need to pull back from the teaching and put more energy into the practice, my own personal journey on the mat. In that journey, I've been in that room or in our Auburn room just about every day for 8 years. And it's really a challenge for me, and we all face this in some way, to separate the teacher from the student. So that I've had a challenging time finding the joy that I used to have when it was just me as a student. I've had a challenging time separating that teacher-student dynamic and connecting with what is my work. Because oftentimes I go in the room and I'm relating to what the students are experiencing and what I can do to enhance their experience, and I'm leaving me aside. And parents do that when they are dealing with their kids. They're thinking about how can they improve their kids' life, where we need to heal ourselves first so that we are in a healthier place to heal others. And I am seeing that very clearly with a huge spotlight that I'm creating for myself. I see that shining on me, and it's a journey I am taking every day. And I'm in the process now of changing my schedule, and I've been doing that for a year. That's where I am, and that's the work that I have to do, and it's probably no different than anybody else. It's just the factors of it are different.
You're so raw, Scott. You bring so much to the mat. I'm so excited to offer people a community of consciousness, a collective, a new earth that they can create for themselves. We're in the business of motivating people. You can visit my website, mplgroup.org. I want to make sure that people know about eastwind.com. I also want to acknowledge the coach be coached, that we sometimes have to take the role as student and then we have to cross over back to teacher, student, teacher. Thanks for sharing so much.
My pleasure.
Close to St. Valentine's Day, we wish you love. Open up your heart chakras and come on down to Eastwind in Auburn or Roseville. I'm Nutri-D. I come in peace. Thank you.